good morning, everybody, and certainly appreciate your participation in our annual meeting. So I'll just give 1 minute to have a few of you who are walking to your seats a chance to sit down, and then we'll officially call the meeting to order. It's amazing. I try to use this in other forums. It just doesn't work so well. It's just the power, and it's interesting because when people who are not associated with Girl Scouts see us do this, they're incredibly impressed at how quickly we can call ourselves to order and organize ourselves and quiet down. So good morning and thank you. I'm going to call the 4th annual meeting of the Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan to order. So I'd ask everyone to please rise for the opening flag ceremony, which is being conducted by members of our Girl Advisory Board.
Girl Scouts, attention. Color Guard, advance. Color Guard, post the colors. Color Guard, honor your flag. Please join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color Guard dismissed.
The Girl Scouts are turning 100 today.
Dream big dreams. You can be whatever you want to be. And being a Girl Scout is a great place to start.
Now therefore, I, Richard B. Abrams, Mayor of the City of Swartz Creek, do hereby applaud the commitment the Girl Scouts has made to America.
We have a birthday cake this morning to celebrate a very, very special birthday.
I felt the need to engage young women in politics and to get more young women thinking about running for office and thinking about becoming leaders.
With my experience at Camp Moxie this week, I really learned that there's no such thing as failure.
My overall stay at Camp Moxie has been really fun. We had a nice camp balance between having fun and learning.
What I've learned is how to own a business, which is something I have honestly considered, but never actually thought I could do it until I came here.
We have wonderful things to show you. We're going to start here with this beautiful uniform from 1914. Many books were written, so this was something very unique and different.
We enlarged the store of the center that moment that I was like, I have to make a change in this school.
I decided to go for the gold because it was pretty much the next level for me, Girl Scouts. I've done a lot, but I really wanted to impact a lot more people in my community.
There were a lot of issues I faced here that I probably wouldn't have faced anywhere else ever. Just seeing people do stuff like that really makes me happy when you're noticing what teens are capable of.
Well, hopefully that video set the tone for this meeting, because today, in addition to conducting the business of the organization, we do want to spend some time reflecting on the past year in terms of the various things that we have accomplished, and then also set our sights towards the future. So again, thank you, delegates, for coming. Thank you for friends and others for participating in the annual meeting. Again, we're very proud of the fact that as a democratic organization that we have an opportunity for you to participate in the governance. And today we have a number of items that we'll be discussing relative to changes of our bylaws. But first of all, I would like to introduce the members that are sitting at the head table today, and I will introduce them in the order that they will be speaking in the program this morning. So first, we have our board secretary, Aquila Wainwright. Next, we have our chief executive officer, Denise Delron. Our chief operating officer, Susan McGraw. Board member and chair of the finance committee, Diane Young. Our second vice chair of the board and chair of the board development committee, Peter Keating. And our parliamentarian, Connie DeFord. I'd also like to take a moment to introduce members of your board of directors who are present here today. So when I call your name, if the board members would stand, and if you please hold your applause until I've gone through everyone who's here, because there are quite a large number of board members here today. So we have Jim Atzett, Blanca Favo, we already introduced Pete Keating, Heather Conders, Rania Cruz, Elaine Marcotte, Lisa Morse, Rhonda Orr, Kathy Ocean, myself, Nancy Philippart, I probably should have introduced myself, Julianne Krasinski, Maureen Stapleton, I think I saw Rick Sunquist in the part back, Seema Verma Prince, Aquila Wainwright, Judy Willard, Laura Wright, and we've introduced Diane Young as well. So if you can please give the board members a round. We also have members of the board development committee here, but Pete Keating will be introducing them during his remarks. So with that, now it's time for us to vote on the credentials report, today's meeting agenda, and the standing rules. So I will now recognize Board Secretary Aquila Wainwright.
Thank you, Nancy. Good morning.
Morning.
I also would like to thank you for being here this morning. It's always an inspiration to be here to support our young leaders of tomorrow. So with that, there are 119 voting council members, consisting of 23 members of the board of directors, 4 members of the board development committee, and 92 council delegates representing their districts. Per our bylaws, the quorum for the annual meeting shall be 25% of the members of the corporation, provided that a majority of the council regions are represented by at least 1 delegate. We have 25% of the corporation in attendance and a majority of the districts. Present at today's meeting are 81 registered members of the corporation and 36 districts represented by delegates. The question is on the adoption of the credentials report, as just given. Those in favor accepting the report, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. There is a quorum present. Now approving of the amended meeting agenda. I'd like to now move that the annual meeting agenda as shown in the workbook and the handouts available today be adopted. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Is there any discussion? The question on adoption of the annual meeting agenda. All of those in favor, please again say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, no. The ayes have it and the motion is adopted. I now move that the standing rules for the annual meeting as shown in the workbook be adopted. Is there a second? It is moved and second to adopt the meeting standing rules for the annual meeting. Is there any discussion? The question is on the adoption of the standing rules for the annual meeting. Those in favor will please rise. Okay, thank you. You can be seated. Are there any opposed? If so, please rise. There are 2/3 in the affirmative, and the rules are now adopted. With that, I will turn it back to Nancy.
Thanks, Aquila. We have one more piece of business to get organized. So if there is no objection, Regina Reed will be appointed head teller for today's meeting, assisted by members of the Girl Advisory Board who will serve as tellers. Okay, hearing no objection, then Regina and the Girl Advisory Boards are hereby appointed. So would Regina and her assistants please stand to be recognized? They're in the back of the board there, so. Okay, thank you very much, girls. We appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to start out now by giving my report, and I'm going to keep my remarks brief and very visual, because what I've found is that sometimes the best way to communicate what we've accomplished is to share that in pictures. So I'm going to focus my remarks today on what the focus of the board has been over the past year. When Denise and Susan come up, they will be talking about really the state of the council, and then Diane Young will do her excellent job communicating in layman's terms where we are with the financials, and then from there we'll turn it over to Pete Keating to go through the actual recommendations from the Board Development Committee. So I'd like to focus really on 4 areas that have been an area of focus for the board this year. That has been in governance, philanthropy, our involvement and support of the To Get Her There initiative, and also the opportunities to really celebrate, not only amongst ourselves, but celebrate in the community our 100th anniversary of Girl Scouting. So under the topic of governance, you're going to be seeing the results and actually voting on the results of one of the key governance items that has been a focus of the board over the past, I would say, 18 months. One of the things that we regularly do as a board is a self-evaluation, and we also work very closely with an organization called BoardSource that is a wonderful source of benchmarking data from nonprofits across the country. We also participated, our council also participated in a survey conducted by BoardSource for the Girl Scouts nationally, so that we could look at governance best practices and compare ourselves to what was happening in the larger community. And so one of the things that we clearly saw, and did spend a lot of time investigating, and Pete will get more into this in his remarks, but that we recognized that the trend in board governance was for boards to become smaller, so that board members could be more actively engaged, and that the leadership structure of the board would be streamlined. So you will see those proposals. Another important element of governance for us was the fact that as a democratic organization, we needed to get input from delegates. And so we have now instituted, and again, thank you for all of the delegates who have participated, but our delegate input meeting in January that has really been helpful in providing input for the board to consider in decision making. And so not only did we get input on some of these board and governance issues that we're voting on today, but important issues such as increasing the price of cookies. That went a year ago to the delegate group, as well as discussion. I think you're all aware that the Girl Scouts of USA at the last convention, not only will national dues be rising, I guess it's not, for this coming year, but they also gave local councils the opportunity to assess what they were calling a service fee in addition to the dues. And so we had a lot of discussion with the delegates in terms of when was the right time, should we do that, and when was the right time to do that. And at this point, we have opted not to go forward with that, but that will be a discussion that we will continue, the board will look at for future. So we spent a fair amount of time on some of those kinds of governance issues. But in addition to our role as governance is to be the fiduciary stewards of the organization, using the input from the master property plan. We were successfully able this past year to conclude the sale of the Timbers Camp up in the Traverse City area. Diane will talk more about that in her remarks, but the ability to sell that camp and bring funds into the council coffers is very important for us in terms of being able to do things like improving our existing facilities, bringing on board some help for our communications and for our website development, some help in the fund development area, looking at some opportunities to utilize that in programming, as well as helping to ensure that our pension is appropriately funded. So that was very helpful to have that influx of cash for a camp that we were not utilizing. And then finally, and we saw this in the intro video, but we were also able to make the investment to significantly improve the facilities at our White Lake Service Center. And I already mentioned the fact that, as part of our governance, it was a very, we wanted to make a very conscious decision about the cookie prices. And in fact, you all know, because we're in the midst of our sales, that we did approve the increase in cookie price to $4. Now I want to talk a little bit in the area of philanthropy. This has been a strong focus for the board this year. We recognize that as a council, we need to continue to try to diversify our sources of funding. I have to tell you, philanthropy in this area, particularly given the economy over the past few years, has been very challenging, but we have made progress. One of the things that we did at the board level to really put philanthropy front and center is we started something called the Giving Cup. And so the Giving Cup is, I would say it really kind of helps to get the competitive juices amongst the board flowing. So what happens is that every month the Giving Cup is awarded to the board member that has influenced the most philanthropy to the council. And so you get a cup and you get your name on the cup. And again, it's a way of being able to keep philanthropy and acknowledge those board members that are really working hard to influence giving to the council. Of course, we have continued to host and frankly make bigger and better every year. Two of our signature events in the council, that being the Cookie Gala. Last year's Cookie Gala had almost 350 people that attended and earned the council over $80,000. Our Cookie Gala this year is next week, so anybody who has not yet gotten their tickets, please do so. It's March 27th, and we have a new venue this year thanks to the generosity of Detroit Edison. We are going to be hosting that event at the facility at DTE, which is good for us in terms of reducing costs. So
actually hosting the event. And again, we've got a great group of chefs lined up. We've got a great attendance, and again, under the kind of notion of philanthropy, we have instituted for the first time this year what we're calling our Tough Cookie Awards. And so people, and I know that many of you may have nominated as well, we are nominating women in the community for either the Tough Cookie Leadership Award for the work that they have done, you know, in terms of being role models and leaders in their profession, and we have the Tough Cookie Community Award for those women who have been exemplary in terms of their service to the community. And so we have a reception at that venue for the award nominees, and then during the event we will be announcing, you know, in each of those categories, the woman who will get that acknowledgement. Our golf outing continues to be successful. Board member Julian Krasinski has been the spearheader behind that. And again, that event continues to raise, you know, between $25,000 and $30,000 for girls, and is actually a very fun event. And I should be showing pictures here because this is pictures of our girls at the Cookie Gala from last year. I'll talk here about one of the new events that we put in place this past year, and that is our 5K walk at the Detroit Zoo. We are going to continue this event and know that it will get bigger and better as the word gets out, and each subsequent year. But it was a great day to get some exercise, to see the beautiful Detroit Zoo, and raise money for Girl Scouting. And then I guess they put me. This is the golf outing, so that was my family and I that had a great day. Had a great day at the golf outing. What I will tell you is those events in total contributed close to $150,000 to the council. I want to remind you about the state income tax checkoff box that's still in place. We're not doing as well as what we had hoped, but you know, for those of you who have not yet filed your taxes. And then the GSS-EM Advisory Council, this is a list of the prominent women in the community that are actually opening doors to us for access to resources, to other people that can help support us in the organization. To get her there, again, this was an initiative that was launched nationally in an effort to really bring attention to the issue of gender balance in one generation. We did our kickoff in January of this with a live panel, but also a virtual event, again hosted at the DTE. Camp Moxie continues to be a very successful event. Last year we had over 60 girls that participated, and we're looking forward to having more girls participate this year. What girls tell us is how critically important it is for them to be in venues where they have access to interacting with professional women as role models. And we are so pleased because the Michigan Women's Foundation, the Women's Officials Network, which is a group of women who support women in to seek elective office in the Tri-County area, they have really embraced Camp Moxie and done a phenomenal job of providing us women as speakers and workshop leaders and so on. And then finally, we are so proud. You saw videos of the gold award, some of our gold awardees, but we are so proud of the fact that this year we were able to, this past year, start our Young Woman of Distinction Scholarship Award. The board is committed to continuing and finding long-term sustainable funding so that we can keep that program in place. I'm getting the high sign, so I'm going to go very quickly, but this was also a year for celebration of our 100th anniversary. You saw in the video the outstanding opportunity to display our history at the Sloan Museum. We also had a wonderful program at the Henry Ford Museum where hundreds of girls and volunteers had the opportunity to spend the day at Henry Ford, and then that evening we also had a very special dinner at the Eagle Tavern. And then finally, it all culminated with our participation in the Thanksgiving Day Parade. And what a wonderful opportunity to showcase Girl Scouting. I know I was in the in the crowd of that day. And, I mean, there were a lot of awesome floats. Couldn't have asked for a better day. But when that birthday cake went by, the area, I think Lisa and I were in the same area, that, people were cheering and applauding and whatever, which really, I think, speaks well to, how we are perceived in the community. So we'd love to be able to do this again. I know the board is kind of talking about, are there some options where, we might be able to do something like this in future, because this was really, and I think it was a tremendous opportunity for our girls. So with that, I'm going to close, ask if there are any questions. My kind of summary of the year is that, it was a wonderful year to celebrate. I think we are continuing to make changes. We are continuing to try to focus on more and more programming opportunities for our girls. Actually, we certainly appreciate all of the help and support that we have gotten from members of the organization. But as your board chair, despite some of the challenges that Denise and Susan will be talking about, I think that there's never been a better time to be in Girl Scouts. So thank you very much, and I'll open it to any questions. Okay.
Learning about different things that you can read, and you get to learn more about other people and interact and network with business women. We had a lot of guest speakers, city council members, people that's working in the office with Mayor. Summer was, she was the inspiration to me. She came off strong, telling us, keeping us motivated to go for and do something that we truly believe in. We even had a 12-year-old here that owns her own business. We learned about fundraising and campaigning in our classes. My favorite speaker was Susanna and Allison. They were running Run Start. We went to Lansing to the state capitol building, and we had our own individual interviews with senators and representatives. And I'm thinking about running for Wayne County Commission. I have been to many leadership camps, but have never learned as much as I have learned here. And that's because of all the wonderful speakers that have come and talked to us.
We both learned a lot this past week at Camp Moxie. It was a really great program, and I just love being at my favorite camp in the world and learning a lot about public speaking, campaigning, and everything that goes into our American political system.
I went to Southwest Detroit. We went to a couple different places. One of the places we went was in Foundation Alternative for Girls, and that was really cool. Like, it's this place, and it gives all these girls out a second chance, basically.
I learned so much how to be a leader, how to communicate with people, and just how to really be myself, and how to achieve what I want to achieve. And I met some really great women, and I feel like that if I ever do something, that I can call them and just say, hey, can you help me out with this? Can you show me how to do this? And can you teach me this?
Knowing that when I grow up, I would love to be a CEO, because this week has provided me with so many good experiences that I can use in my future. And I've met so many awesome people. It's been such a great experience.
So everything that was just like thrown out there, it was all fun. Yeah, everything was amazing about it. I loved it.
And I just really had fun. So I want to say thank you to everyone at Camp Moxie who helped put it together, because it was really great for everyone.
So you can see the wonderful partnerships that we have for being able to provide that leadership camp experience. So with that, I am now pleased to be able to welcome Denise Dalrymple, your Chief Executive Officer, and Denise is going to share an overview of some of the issues and challenges facing the council. So Denise.
Thank you, Nancy. Some of you may know I was out on medical leave. I had some abdominal surgery on February 21st, and besides sleeping and being sick from the stupid Tylenol with codeine for about 3 weeks, I had a good time really to just sit and think about Girl Scouts and where we're going. I want to find out who we are, though. And so I'm going to try to ask you a couple questions, and if you'd raise your hand. How many people have been volunteers for 20 years or more? If you'd raise your hand, please. People have been volunteers for 20 years or more. How about people who have been volunteers for 10 to 20 years? Raise your hand. Okay, good. How about people 5 to 10 years? Good. And then how about people under 5 years? Good, good. This is a real mixed group. The people that have been here under, let's see. How many people were at a previous annual meeting before? Okay, okay. How many people have not been to an annual meeting before? Okay, thank you very much. For those who haven't been here before, good, because you're going to hear new stuff. For those of you who've been here before, I kind of say the same thing every year. I talk about the challenges, but I swore I was going to do something a little different this year and actually talk about how we together, how you can help me try to change the culture, how we can pull together to try to address some of the pressing problems that we have. So it isn't all doom and gloom, and at the end, I will be, here it is. So this looks familiar, challenges, opportunities, and a little bit new is responsibilities, and then at the end I'll show you our vision of the new program model, that it helps me to think about it this way. So our challenges, of course, are always membership, funding, and programming. And have been since the 60s. And many of you will have seen this. This is the GSUSA went through their long-term planning and developed 5 core strategies. And starting with program experience, and so that's where Girl Scout leadership experience came out of that. Trying to change the brand, we got a new logo, we've got beautiful new materials. I mean, really, if you look at the stuff that we had 4 years ago and the way this stuff looks now, it isn't all GSUSA, though. We have to really thank Michael Baird, who's not in the room, but let's thank Michael Baird for a while. Regardless, of course, is the one that the public always gets, and I think has caused us a lot of angst, and that's the thing that caused all of the mergers. And so we went from 300 and some councils to 112 some councils. There's talk about going through another one and shrinking again, and God, I hope that happens after I'm gone, I have to tell you. Because that has been very rough for us. Then we're talking about new ways for volunteers. So diverse volunteers and new ways of volunteering, more flexible ways of volunteering, and then of course funding, making girls a funding priority. And all of that, if we do all of those things, then we believe that we'd be better able to develop good girl leadership. So here's some of our challenges. Membership. The last year, membership stabilized and actually went up a couple percentage, but this year, end of the year that we're in right now, as of March 21st, 87 of the 112 councils are down, and 26 councils are down by more than 10%. That's alarming. That's very alarming. And then at GSSEM, we're down 14% from where we need to be from last year. 14%. And I've got to tell you guys, that translates into about 14% behind in our cookie sale, and that's about $1 million. That's $1 million that we're behind. But our girl membership, we've got good plans. I think Barb Sosin of Susan's team have got plans to bring in another 1,000 girls this summer for Best Friends First. We have plans. Staff are working really hard. We'll see what happens there. The Down membership, though, is at 99% of our goal. Now, our goal was less than it was last year, but we think we're gonna hit that goal. And our retention is pretty amazing. We have volunteers coming back. And so I think now we've absorbed the idea of the merger. No surprise to anybody, United Way funding is diminished, and at one time, let me remind you, the Legacy Council's got up to $4 million of United Way funding from the 8 different United Ways. That all went away. Went away pretty fast. So when we merged in January of 2009, the Legacy Councils had a $2.5 million operating deficit. How much were they getting from United Way? About $2.5 million. How much were we subsidizing camps to? The tune of $2.5 million. And so you say, oh, Denise, it's all about the money. Yeah, it's about the money. We have a fiduciary responsibility to count that money. After all, the money comes from little girls selling cookies in the snow, as people often remind me. That's where a lot of our revenue comes. Well, we have to be mindful of that, right? It's good. Our foundation and corporate funding has been stable, but funders are increasingly putting an emphasis on outcomes. And where do we get our outcomes from? Where do we get our outcomes from? Is from the journey materials. We'll talk about that in a second. So the cookie sale now, as I said, is down 13%. Better than we're right in line with the national. Nationally, cookie sales are down 13%. That's across the country. In the Midwest, I think the average is something like 18, 19%. We have one of our sister councils where the cookie sales down almost 29%. Wow. That's really pretty shocking. Now, interesting, people say, oh, it's because you went up $4. No, it's $4. It is not. It is not. Our per girl average, the girls that are selling, they're going gangbusters. They're selling great. The problem is we have fewer girls selling cookies. And the thing that really, really bothers me is the number of troops that are not selling cookies. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of troops that are not selling cookies. Hundreds and hundreds of troops that are not selling cookies. Kind of doing their own thing, got enough money, gonna go to a water park, and not partake of the financial literacy program. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that later too. And so our big thing, journeys were invented in 2006, guys. That was 6 years ago. 6 years ago. At GSNCM, we have a little bit higher average. The Girl Scout marketing department comes in and they look at our sales, and so they make an estimate of how many of our members they believe have the journey materials and awards in their hands. And we only have a third. Only about a third of our membership is partaking of the national program of Girl Scouting. Now, I know it's more than that. I know it's more than that, but you know how it is? People are making photocopies. Are you going to remember a photocopy 30 years from now? People treasure their Girl Scout things. People, wherever I go, people show me their badges and and old books. Are they going to value those crumpled up pieces of, or should they have their own Girl Scouts? Should they have their own journey book? Obviously, I think that they should. And journeys are how we're going to support the outcomes. That's how we're going to get the outside funding. That's how we're going to get the foundation funding. The foundations are not going to fund, do your own thing, do some fun little crafts, go to a water park kind of thing. We will not get outside funding to do that. And we depend on the outside funding in order to do, very much to offer scholarships and to keep the prices down on our things that we offer to people. And for people who ask me, and there are people who ask me, well, when are we going to get rid of the journeys? In the words of Taylor Swift, we are never, ever, ever, ever getting back together. I bet you, I thought that was amusing too. I didn't know in the middle of the night that would still go over in the daylight. Nonetheless though, resources are limited, but even though resources are limited, we have to develop a more flexible service delivery model. It does not matter that we have 40% fewer staff and 40% fewer volunteers. It doesn't matter, we still have to do that. Because if we don't do that, and I've been predicting it for 3 years, our first annual meeting was 3 years ago, I said it then, I said it the year before, and I'm saying it this year too, and I know I sound like a broken record, but if we do not change, we are going to go under. We cannot sustain 10 and 15 and 20% drop in membership every year. We will be gone. We will be gone. And we know that part of why people don't use the journeys is that they're pretty darn difficult, I guess. It would help though if people would buy the leader's book. Hear me. It would help if people would buy the leader's book. People are buying the girl book and opening it up and go, man, I don't get this. That's because the instructions are in the leader's book. So people need to buy the leader book, and that will help you understand. GSRI actually has been studying this whole issue because clearly this is an issue around the country. And it turns out You should leave the books at home. You don't come to the troop meeting and open up the book and then go through it like it's school. You leave the book at home. You plan the activities out of the leader's book, and then the girls work on the Girl Scout stuff at home. They work on that with their mom. Just like we used to do when we were kids, we did most of our badge work, I don't know about you, but in my troop, we did most of our badge work at home with mom. Or we maybe with a couple of other girlfriends. And then we did some badges with the troop. We did most of it at home with mom. That's still the same kind of principle. We can use the journeys that way. But we do need to develop a better orientation, help people better understand how to use these materials. We need to better celebrate and publicize our successes. But we don't have a lot of money to do that. But we have to figure out how to publicize our successes, because wow, you watch these videos and you ask yourself, my God, we're doing some pretty cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. I believe that the act of having a caring adult work with a group of girls and work with them and see them and have the opportunity to do community service, irrespective of whether they use the journey materials or not, right? That's a good and positive thing. No good thing you give a child is wasted. And that's why I think Girl Scouts is really, really wonderful. But you know what? We can make it better, we can make it deeper if we actually use the national program. That's what I'm saying. And we know the research tells us those materials really work. And we also know we need to increase the use of technology to reach our membership. When I first got here 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, I had people tell me, oh my God, you can't use the internet because some people don't have access to the internet. That's completely changed now, where people say, oh my God, your stuff isn't fast enough, good enough, cool enough, it isn't, you know. It's changed 180 degrees. Now people are asking us for mobile apps, for God's sakes. I barely know what a mobile app is, and yet people want mobile apps. No, really. And if we're gonna move at the speed of girls, all of our stuff needs to be on that smartphone, on an iPad, on that kind of stuff. We hear that, we don't have the money to do it, we hear that, and we're telling GSUSA, and GSUSA, are they gonna do something about that? Okay, so we might be on our own with this. So you've got to figure out and partners with other people and practice mobile app thing, because this is what the girls want. We don't have it yet though. We're going to have to try to do it without a lot of money. So, change is really hard. I get that. But you know, we have to, you have to help me with this. Help me help the membership understand that we have to be able to pay for what it really costs to do things. The United Way money, the slush money to subsidize, keeping the prices artificially low, that money is gone. That money is gone. We can't do events for $5 anymore. And we're spending $10 and $15 per girl, and we're only charging $5. We don't have the money to do that anymore, you guys. Don't have it. We're still subsidizing camps to the tune of big time because people won't buy it. But you know, our camps cost us $500 or $600 a week. $500 or $600 a week. But we only charge what? Bill, what are we charging this year?
It depends on what they're ready for. Yeah, per girl, $10.
What are we charging this year?
$10 per girl.
Yeah. We really have to get our membership to understand that girls deserve to have their own book and their own journey book and their own Girl's Guide. We're talking $33, and it's for 2 years. It's for 2 years. You add everything up, some of the troop dues, going to events, doing the signature stuff, getting the materials. It's about $130, $140 the first year, $100 the next year. I was just in the basement because I've been packing. And because I'm a pack rat, I found the cutest little dance rehearsal costume, my daughter's 24 now, right? But I found this little teeny tiny dance costume thing that she had for one of her rehearsals. You know, the little little thing, gauze, the little tutu and gauze and that kind of thing. That thing cost me $63 20 years ago, you guys, for one rehearsal. So the idea that Girl Scouts is too expensive, that we're spending too much money, that girls are not worth it. Girls are worth it. I know people are spending this kind of money on the boys. There's no doubt about it. A boy needs a knife, he needs something for camp and band, it's bought. Gotta help me with this. We've got to help our membership understand. And we also have to help people understand that the cookie sale is a financial literacy program. It's not just something for fun. There's really cool stuff there on the Baker website, I think, that doesn't take very much to turn it into a financial literacy program. And the part of our issue here is that we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of troops that are not selling cookies. We've got troops that somebody told me the other day, oh, the parents just write the checks. And so they don't have to bother with the sale. Look, this is like going to church or synagogue or the mosque or being part of Kiwanis or a civic group, and you don't put money in the plate every month or every week. Well, depending on how often you go, it should be every week, right? You don't put money in the collection plate. It's not fair to skate like that. It's not fair to skate like that. And yet we have hundreds of troops that don't believe that they need to contribute to the upkeep of the organization. And then when we ask people to donate as part of the family membership, oh my God. And yet we know at the Boy Scouts, their membership donates and donates and donates and donates. Not a question about it. Not a question about it. In fact, I've had a lot of moms tell me, well, you know, my husband comes home and he wants a $100 check for Boy Scouts, and we just write it and it's just done. You know, are you writing that $100 check for Girl Scouts? No, you're not, because I see the money that comes in. We're lucky if we get the $8 on occasion for people, and you know, we use that, really, truly, truly. We use that for financial aid for girls. And then finally, we are our own worst enemy. Our own worst enemy. We have public instead of internal debate that turns off the new members. And I have had people come and tell me this over and over again. I get this, and I think it's kind of like this. People who are really idealistic want this, and they're really heartbroken when it's like this. And so very, very often, some of our really negative people are really, really idealistic. Here's how I know. When I ask people, it's, you know, you're trashing us on the internet at every public meeting, and you come here and you're mad about this, that, and the other thing. If you hate Girl Scouts so much, why are you still here? And the person, this happens to me over and over, the person looks at me and says, what? I love Girl Scouts. I love Girl Scouts. So here's our opportunities. We need to celebrate being an inclusive organization. Because we get slammed for this, you guys, out in the internet, you know, out in the big world. That people slam us because we are inclusive. We don't discriminate against people. We don't discriminate against girls. We don't take a position one way or the other on birth control or abortion or so on and so forth. And you know there are a constant barrage of internet messages out there accusing the Girl Scouts of being pro-euthanasia. Oh, I gotta write one this last one. Did you know that we are pro-prostitution? I kid you not. Here's our work. There's this wacko out there that here's our work. We belong to WAGS, and WAGS participates in the United Nations. And the United Nations Task Force over here is concerned about sex workers around the country where the jobs are, I'm sorry girls, but you're old, that's right, we got older girls here, where the Johns get off scot-free and the women get killed. And so there's logically some protest about this. But this guy sees that and then takes the connection back, and then he uses that to say Girl Scouts promotes prostitution. No, we don't. We don't promote prostitution. And in fact, if we do, so does the Catholic Church, because you know what? The Vatican belongs to the UN too. And I do not think anybody in their right mind would say that the Vatican is pro-abortion, pro-birth control, and pro-prostitution. I don't think so. But so why are they pulling out the Girl Scouts? So we have our own enemies out there. Why are we trashing ourselves? Why are we doing that? And that is really, we really have got to figure out, we've got to help each other do that. I'm as idealistic as anybody, man. I can go there faster than you about the things that are wrong with this place. We have to help each other, be more positive with new people coming in. We really do. We have to remember the Girl Scout promise. We have to give the person a break. I get complaints all the time. I had this parent call me up, trashing us everywhere. Oh my God, they're getting $4 a box for the cookies and we're only seeing $1. So I said, sir, That's how it works. $1 goes to the bakery, and the other couple, comes to the council, and the other part is for incentives. It goes, oh. Meanwhile, it's trashed is everywhere without getting the facts. So really, really, we have to help our co-leaders, we have to help our parents, we have to help people just chill a little bit. Find out what the real facts are. Call us up. Call me. I answer my phone. People are shocked when they call me and I answer my phone. I answer my phone. I answer my emails. I know many of you have emailed me. Do I answer my emails? You do. You answer them. All right, so here's the responsibility. I'm trying to put kind of like this manifesto together. We need people to pay their dues. We need people to pay their dues. We need people to pay their dues. We have people who belong to our alumni associations, who are on our committees, who are on lots of our formal mechanisms that don't pay the dues. You guys, come on, you need to pay your dues. And if paying it once a year is really, you don't remember that it's due every October 1st, then cough up the $300 and become a lifetime member like I did. Get a cool pin, and then you never have to worry about it again. We need people, seriously, I'm going to quit being apologetic about this. People do need to donate money, and not just time. You do. If you believe in this organization, your treasurer tells you what you got. People really should be. And I'm not talking about you need to leave us your entire estate, although that'd be nice. And remember us in your will, although I really like that. That'd be a good thing. But you think about how you can contribute actual dollars to the organization. And try to keep public comments positive. Work through the system. I think I have that next. Work through the system. We have a system. We have a system for grievances. And if you don't understand something, please come ask us. And then if it's still rotten, then hey, go on. But please find out first. Please try to encourage the new volunteers. We've had people tell us over and over again they don't want to come, didn't want to come to service unit meetings, didn't want to come to district meetings, don't want to come to Girl Scout meetings at all. Because the volunteers that are there do nothing but trash the council. The council's bad this, the council's bad this. Look, we are all the council. This may be council administration, there might be a board, there might be council marketing, there might be council operating volunteers, council camp staff, but we are all the council. And if you have an issue with something in the council, then you need to talk to the council. But don't tell the new people coming in that everything's bad and it always so great before. Who wants to be part of that? And we are turning off our new potential members, and that's hurting our growth. We need to pull this together. And then finally, we need to be true to the Girl Scout promise and law. That is why we're here. All right, I promised you, this is a simple way of looking at our model. For too long, you see the school and site, and I should say home-based troop model. That model is dying, y'all. That model is dying. I've been saying this for a long time, become more and more obvious. Susan McGraw told me yesterday, we had 3,000 girls now this year that wanted to be a Girl Scout that we didn't have troop for. That also means we had 3,000 moms who weren't willing to step up and start troop. Excuse me, last year was 2,000, this year is 3,000. So we worked up this thing called the community troop. And so you may think there is method to our madness about why we have these communities and why we want to have community events. And that's because somebody calls me and said, I want to join Girl Scouts. I say, cool, join now, and come and do some cool stuff on Saturday. Come to the council shop, get your book, get your badge book, and we can get you slotted in, because there's all kinds of this stuff going on. There are council-wide events, there are local community series and events. You can come to camp, you can go to travel. Virtual, of course, we've given up on. There's no virtual anymore. Instead of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to join a troop, they can be a Girl Scout now. And you know what? They can sell cookies too. And if we had enough of these series and events, both local and council-wide, and we're building them as fast as we can. We can find volunteers for that. It's just a question of finding the room, getting the training, and so on and so forth. And we are. The number of girls we have coming to series and events is it's gone up by what, 20 times, 30, how much? Even more. 30 times, 40 times. So that's an area for growth. And for councils that merged before we did, because remember, we're at the end. We were at the end. We were in the bottom quartile of councils that merged. For those councils that are offering series and events and operating this way, they are growing. For organizations that are only focusing on the old model, the model that all of us grew up with, they're going down. They're going down. Hard to believe, I understand. You made the sacrifice. I didn't, but I was a helping mom, and I went on every one of those trips and field trips for my daughter. I made the time to do it. So hard to believe that people call us up, want their daughter to be in Scouts, but they don't want to have to do it, but that's it. That's what it is. And women are under a lot of stress now. Women are on a lot of stress. So we have to figure out how to do this differently. I believe in this model. I think this is really going to work. So, in closing, I did it again. I told you about, it's awful here, it's awful here, it's awful here. I tried to do it in an amusing way. I love that joke, never, ever, ever, ever. I got a good laugh. I'm happy about that. And I appreciate all of you being here. I thank you so much for sticking it out with us. Let's go on this journey. Let's figure this out. Let's help people come and join us and be happy to be Girl Scouts and do this cool stuff that we do. But let's also pull together so that we can have the organization be here for all of us in the future. Thank you very much. You can always call me, send me an email. I'll talk to anybody. They told me I only had so many minutes, and of course I've gone over them. But are there any questions, any burning questions that people want to ask me? I'll be here after, and like I said, you can always call me or email me too. People also invite me to come to things, and then they're shocked when I show up too. Okay, if there's no questions, then thanks very much, and I'm going to turn it back to Nancy. I'll just turn it over to Nancy.
So thank you, Denise. I'm going to turn it over now to Susan McGraw, our COO. Susan.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I wanted to pick up a little bit on where Denise left off and about the challenges that we face and some of our opportunities and responsibilities. But I really wanted to start with the fact that, that we have had lots and lots and lots and lots of volunteers that have supported us through the last few years of the transitions that we've had. And since probably the merger itself, at least the last 4 years or so, the focus has really been on the business of Girl Scouts. And so there's been a lot of conversation and work around the structure and what it should look like and the roles and responsibilities for our staff and our volunteers and processes and procedures, and we've done it all. We did the process maps, we did lots and lots of work on all these areas, and I want to thank all of the volunteers who have been very actively engaged in that process of helping us look at how to improve what we do so that we really can make it easier and better for girls and adults, for our troop leaders to be able to, and our program volunteers to be able to have a really great Girl Scout leadership experience. That's the purpose of all this. And a lot of times in my conversations with our volunteers, I focus a lot on, and our staff too, on, well, let's talk about the girls, because we spend so much time talking about the business issues, and how is this really going to make it better for girls? And that's always the theme that I'm looking at. How do we make it easier for troop leaders and program volunteers to deliver a high quality experience for the girls? So we do have now the opportunity, I'm really excited to say that we've got a lot of that basic work done, and now we can get back to the actual vision of the work, the leadership development itself. But we do have some upcoming enhancements. So those of you who are waiting for the day when the change will stop, let me just say, probably never. We are a continuous improvement organization, and we're going to be a high-performing organization. That means we're always going to be making things better. And so when I think in terms of the business of Girl Scouts, though, what I'm really excited to say is that my feeling is now it's, you have all been helping us with the design of where we're going, and now it's staff's responsibility to execute and enhance, which is great because that gives you back your time and energy to work with the girls, and that's the way it really should be. So, but here's some things that are coming up that I wanted to share with you. When we think about the design that was originally created for the roles and responsibilities for volunteers, and that design was put together by staff and volunteers doing an extensive study of what's the best way to work with what we're doing. There was a flaw in that design that we discovered, and that was that we didn't really formalize the troop organizer role when we created the district and the community structures. And so I see head shaking, yes, because that was the person who knew the moms at the schools and knew the principals and the teachers and had that really personal relationship at the schools. And so we really have recognized how critically important that role is. And we did reinstate that role right away last year, but we really want to help people realize that we want that to be a very significant part of our volunteer team. And so our recruitment team will be working very hard to re-engage more people, more women that want to, or adults that want to help us, working specifically with the school or a couple of schools. And the second thing we recognize is that having volunteers at the district level that we're dealing with recruitment and girl placement, they really felt disconnected from those schools and the school districts. And so those roles are going to be changed to be troop organizer coaches and working at the school district level, because that's what we've heard from all of you that we've talked to. And I really appreciate those of you who've been involved in my COO council, advisory council all year, and all the people that constantly give me their feedback. What we really heard from people is we know people in the schools and we know people maybe in our school district, but once it gets past that, I don't know anybody. And so that's what we're going to really focus on this year is troop organizers at the school and then troop organizer coaches at the school district level to really help build those relationships and those connections. And now what'll be interesting is the troop organizers and coaches will be working on how to talk to the adults and the girls about flexible options. Because really what we're about now is the Girl Scout leadership experience. And that experience can be delivered in a school-based troop that meets on a weekly or a monthly basis at the school, or it could be delivered in the community troop format with an 8-week journey series or a one-day event. So we really are going to be working a lot on how do we talk about these flexible options. As Denise said, we had 3,000 moms who said, I in fact demanded, I want my daughter in Girl Scouts, but I don't want to be a troop leader. That's the first thing people say. And to help our staff and volunteers even be able to talk about the flexible options is challenging because they're so used to thinking in terms of the traditional. Girl Scouts is all about a troop that meets after school in the school every week for the year. And so we have busy lives for both girls and adults, and their first reaction is, well, I want my daughter in Girl Scouts, but I don't want to be a troop leader. So that's why I think one of our biggest challenges going forward is how do we talk about it? How do we talk about it in ways that people go, oh, wow, this is a really great opportunity. I really like the flexibility. I've actually had moms that I've talked to who said, my 3rd grader is way too busy to do Girl Scouts because she's got soccer and drama and those other things. And so now we have built the structure and we have the supports in place now to be able to say, your daughter can do Girl Scouts and soccer and drama. And it can be offered in a real flexible way. So I'm really excited about that. And the link to that is Program Volunteers. And we are definitely going to be talking more about how do we ask women who are, in fact, the theme, by the way, I'll put it in a positive perspective. Denise talked about where are the numbers as far as where we are. I'm helping my staff look at it as a tremendous opportunity. And here's the opportunity. We have 1.9 million women in this council area that are waiting to be asked to be role models and mentors, not troop leaders, role models and mentors to support 393,000 girls in becoming the leaders who will change the world. That's our potential. That's our audience. And we just have to figure out a different way of talking about it, a different way of asking to come on board. Because when people think in those terms, oh, I don't have to be a troop leader, but I could come and help with a one-day event, or I could come and participate in Camp Moxie, or I could come because I'm a CFO in a company, I could come and do a financial literacy program linked to our cookie program. Then women say, oh wow, sign me up. We had the opportunity with Camp Moxie last year. We went out in 3 weeks and asked, and 40 women said, absolutely, I will come and be part of Camp Moxie. And so that is a different way of looking at what Girl Scouts has to offer for girls and how we can really create a leadership experience that's really exciting and flexible and offers everybody what they want. So we're really excited about it because now we are ready to go. We've built it, we've done all the hard work, we're ready to go. Now, okay, so let's talk about, Denise said, what's National doing for us in technology? I just came back yesterday. This week I was in Phoenix with the chief executive officers and the chief operating officers from all 120 councils around the country. And guess what were the number one hot topic? 2 hot topics. One was, what do we do with technology? And how do we make our technology work better for us? So here's the good news. You see the word August there, membership and program registration. They have promised that we will have a new and enhanced membership and program registration online system by August. And we've seen the prototype. I think you're going to be thrilled. It lets you sign up as a member. You can put your whole family and your troops in your own profile, and then you can sign everybody up. And it's very cool. We're very excited. So hang on, August. is definitely when it's going to be happening. So we'll be getting information out to you starting, they're going to have it for us in June, so June, July, August. Keep your eye on your email. We'll be having lots of webinar stuff available and prototypes to show you and things to show you how cool it is. It's going to be very cool. Those of you who really have had major concerns this past year on registering your troop members and your family members for programs, particularly the registration system, that piece of it I think you're going to love. It's going to be very great. So it's coming. It's definitely coming. As far as mobile apps, that's what the mobile apps, they talked about that. In fact, one of the voted decisions was to really look at the rethink the delivery system for older girls and make sure that we can develop a technology platform that engages our older girls in a totally different way with Girl Scout experience. So let's give that a hand. That's very cool. And the website is the next comment. We'll just keep working on it. We're working on it. Mike Ryan, yes, we'll keep working on it. The Conflict Management Toolkit, for many of you are hearing that we've got that rolling out now to our volunteers. We're very excited. It's going really well. So we've got some cool stuff happening going on. So that's our responsibility as staff now, my team, absolutely every day. They will tell you that I ask every day, okay, what can we do today to make it better for girls and adults to participate? That's our responsibility. So from the standpoint of the business, we definitely know what we need to do. We have a lot of work to do to make it better for you. Now, the good news is you can now focus on the leadership experience. We have a fantastic team of volunteers, thousands of troop leaders and program volunteers, and we have hundreds of volunteers that work with us, that work with other volunteers to provide a high-quality leadership experience. So we could not possibly acknowledge everybody, but I want to call out a couple of people that are doing what I call leadership in action, meaning that they are spotting an unmet need and going and doing it, fixing it, which is what we're teaching our girls to do too. Like, how do you see a need and go fix it? Now, some of them can't be here today, but I promised I was going to acknowledge them anyway. And as I said, it's by no means comprehensive, but I just wanted to focus on the fact that we have people that are stepping up and saying, what can I do to support moving the leadership program forward for our girls? So, first, I want to acknowledge that we have volunteers that have stepped up and said, I want to help us figure out how to deliver Journeys as series, so that it's flexible and girls can pick and choose from whatever journeys they want to do. So Jennifer Baker, Amy Willman, Deb Falk-Winkles, and Philomena Patoli, along with Sandy Selby, are piloting Journeys as series right now this month coming up. And so we are very excited that we're going to have the opportunity now for girls to be able to go to a 6 or an 8 week journey, and a troop can go together or girls can go individually, and they can have the Girl Scout leadership experience without having to necessarily be part of a year-long school-based troop. So not all of them today, unfortunately, can't be here because they're all at Camp Hawthorne Hollow doing a program for us. So there you go. So let's give them a hand. Tracy Walker is sitting in front, so I'm going to ask people to stand, and we'll hold our applause to the end until we have everybody standing. Tracy could stand, please, because Tracy is really effective at working with our older girls, and last year took a group of our older girls to Chicago to the World Forum for our WAGS group, the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, and had a fabulous time looking at these international issues with girls and then helping them develop take action projects as a result of that. So thank you, Tracy. Josephine Starseski keep standing, Tracy, keep standing, is really great at the girl-led piece and really helping doing it herself and also working with volunteers on helping them figure out how to let the girls actually do the work, which is what National says is the hardest to do. So girls are so we have volunteers directly serving girls and doing it in innovative ways, and that's really great. We also have volunteers supporting other adults in being effective at working with girls. So Jan Robertson, I'd like to acknowledge her. Jan recognized that this take action concept with service versus take action is challenging for people to sometimes get their hands around. So Jan developed, just saw the need, went and developed a module to be used at district meetings to help adults be able to talk with girls about how to do take action rather than in addition to service. And so that's what Jan did. Then Kathy Smith and Lori McAbee, can you guys stand? Because they then said, well, that's a cool concept. Let me go and do it with our districts and our communities. So they're replicating the program in other areas, which is exactly what we're really wanting to do. Develop a tool and replicate it in other areas. Stella, now I can always do this wrong. Stella W. Stella W. Say it, Stella. That's 11. There you go. Stella is one of our volunteers. We have many volunteers that are on all of our committees, and Stella is really focused on the GSLE coaching piece and does a lot of work with both adults and girls on helping us with the whole Girl Scout leadership experience. Then we have new leaders coming on board, and they are getting tremendous support from lots of you, but in particular I wanted to point out Nancy Desjarlis and Donna Marcus, so if they're here, please stand, who we get great feedback from our new leaders about how well they feel onboarded through the process, quick and easy onboarding. Jackie Mainzinger and Colleen Zarni, I wanted to mention, are fabulous on Facebook because, you know, lots of our volunteers put concerns up or questions on Facebook, and they jump right on board and give some really fabulous information and answer people's questions, which is really terrific. Heather Lasinski, is Heather here? Heather has been really fabulous with product sales and being one of our key players in helping our volunteers with their product sales issues. So let's first give all of those individuals really being leaders in action who see a need and go after it. And then all of you who are currently volunteers, if you could also stand, that would be great. Anyone who's a volunteer, stand. All right, excellent. And then how about our delegates, girls and adults, standing, because you're our volunteers as well, delegates. All right, so everybody, give yourself a hand. Thank you. Because we really do have many people who are partnering with us in this process, and we really want to acknowledge that. Now, this time, I think it might even be the first time that we have girls that are participating in our program here today, and they are members of our Girl Advisory Board, and I'm so excited to be able to participate via a mentor for the girls in this group. And so I want to introduce our flag ceremony participants today, Emma Chandonnet, Lane Connor, Deshawn Johnson, and Olivia White. So give them a hand. We have Readers and Cedars, that's our title, Readers and Cedars. Julia Kihei, Anaya Johnson, Kiana Walker, Phoebe O'Mara, Essence Eaton, Atlantis Johnson, and Daniela Keith. Please give them a hand. And then to actually really make it, bring home what we really are here for, what we're all about. And we've asked several of our members of the Girl Advisory Board, we call them the GAB, by the way, the GAB. The GAB is going to present for us their thoughts about what leadership really looks like. And so, where's our team? Girls, come on up. We have Addison Mock, Lily Doma, Miranda Siffer, Brianna Milton, and Juliet Ivansky.
Journeys are about how we grow from the experiences along the way. Girl Scouting is about journeys. We want to share some of our journeys through Girl Scouting with you today. Volunteers here today, you have helped to make these journeys possible. Girls that are here, we know you have so many similar stories you could tell. The lessons learned, experiences had, and memories made are what make up these journeys. Through our Girl Scout journeys, we have grown, and the destination has been the person that we are today. Everyone should have a long strip of paper. As we talk today, please take a moment to write down something that has stood out to you in your Girl Scout journey. Maybe a lesson you have learned, a memory you've made, or words that explain what Scouting has meant to you. After our presentation, we will collect them all and link them together as a friendship chain. No one goes on a journey alone. This is to help us remember that it is the friends and people we are with that help us to grow. These are some of our Girl Scouting journeys through which we feel we have grown.
Feverishly hoping I would make a good first impression, I walked into the room where I would have my first meeting as a member of the Mackinac Island Governor's Honor Guard. At the time, I knew some friends in the program, and I was intent to stick pretty close to them as we started the meeting with an icebreaker. I was not sure what to expect or what exactly I was getting into. That was 5 years ago when I was in the 7th grade. Now, I am the senior patrol leader of this special troop. Hello, my name is Addison Mock, and I'm an Ambassador Girl Scout from Troop 40327 out of Grosse Pointe. I'm currently a junior at Shrine High School, and I've been part of Scouting since Davies. The Mackinac Island Guard is a group of scouts from troops all over GSSEM's council, who have each applied and interviewed to become a member. Our group of 56 girls is one of a small number of troops that serve on Mackinac Island for 1 week every summer. On the island, our main jobs are standing duty and guiding visitors at Fort Mackinac, and raising and lowering the island's flags every day. This is a picture of me with the flag I was responsible for in my first 2 years. We march 2 by 2 everywhere we go, and because our troop goes up the week of the Lilac Festival on the island, we learn marching tricks to perform in the parade. As a 7th grader new to the program, I was rather hesitant to take any charge or act as a leader, mainly because there were high schoolers in the program that I looked up to be the leaders. But as I got to know some of the older girls in the program, I began to see that even if I did not have lots of experience or was not in an official leadership role in the troop, I could still be a very active member. Courage and confidence, those became the attributes I worked to have. My 3rd year in the program, I had a position as a leader in training. By then I was a freshman in high school and was loving the input I had into how things were done and realizing all that comes with responsibility. I learned through experiences along the journey, both in town and on the island, that there's a difference between giving directions and orders, and that how you tell someone to do something is just as important as what you're telling them to do. I practiced problem solving and thinking ahead. I also learned through experience some on-the-spot thinking, such as when I was responsible for girls standing duty downtown when a thunderstorm hit, and I had left all the uniform ponchos we needed then to wear all the way back to the barracks. Through the years in the program, I have been learning discipline, as we stand reverently still during flag ceremonies and get ourselves where we need to be at the right time. Experiencing being away from home for a week in a communal living situation and being responsible for my own schedule will be great skills in college. Knowing how to mop a floor and wash dishes in a 3-compartment sink has come in handy at my job at a concession stand. I'm learning to communicate effectively through working with tourists of all different ages, ethnicities, attitudes, and questions. And most importantly, I've gained the confidence to make friends and be a leader. This year, I'm co-senior patrol leader of Mackinac Troop 327. With my partner SPL, I run the in-town meetings and make sure every little detail is covered before we leave in June. On the island, I announce the flag calls, decide what uniform is best for the weather, and overall supervise to make sure everything is running smoothly. It is a big responsibility and a lot of work, but I know my experience in the program has prepared me to manage all that I will have to do. I've become more confident and willing to reach out to others. I've learned what it means to be a leader. I've realized the importance of organization and discipline. At the same time, I've made amazing friends and will leave with so many memories of my annual journey to beautiful Mackinac Island.
Hi, my name is Brianna, and I'm going to talk about change within Scouts and within myself. Scouting teaches girls life skills, friendships, money management, and fun, all in one big program. We just celebrated 100 years of Scouting, and it's quite interesting to realize that Scouting hasn't changed within society as much as other things. I'm sure that Juliet Lowe would be ecstatic to find out what she started is one of the biggest girl programs today. These girls are my troop from 2 years ago. I can say for all of us that we look very different. This was our first picture together at camp, and it's free. We look younger. We've all changed since then, but one thing that hasn't changed is our friendships. And our love for selling Girl Scout cookies. Yes, the Girl Scout cookies. We made many sales as we could to become top seller, finding different ways to make money. The boxes changed, we lost and received flavors, the prices went up, but the booth is still a booth. And we learned money management, marketing skills, tips, and the younger girls learned to take advantage of their cuteness factors. And of course, there's always the weird, crazy stuff that we do, like this. This is a wall of empty cookie cases we made in Lakeside Mall for the Mall Frenzy this year. It was quite an interesting task. We had to tape them all together, drag them across the mall, which was in the process of closing, and then we had to build it twice. It was 7 feet high. It was quite a task, but we had fun doing it.
Scouting helps turn girls into young leaders. If Scouting stays in our society, or even in our hearts, the change in it, or us, will always be for the better. If we keep Scouts coming, learning, and loving, then a chain reaction of girls will start. Anything will be possible, and we could change the world. Now my question for you is, will you be a part of that chain reaction?
Good morning. My name is Julia Ivansky, and I'm a member of Girl Scout Troop 41396 in Waterford, Michigan. As long as I can remember, I wanted to be a part of the Girl Scouts. I remember looking with longing at the brownie uniforms when I was still in preschool, thinking, when I get old enough, I too want to be able to wear that beanie and think just how cute I'll look. Well, I did wear that brownie uniform, and in case you're wondering, oh yeah, I look good. Then I wore the Girl Scouts Green Juniors vest, and now proudly wear the Cadet vest, and I'm planning on wearing the Girl Scout uniform for the rest of my school career. I want to wear the uniform because I want people to know I'm proud to be a Girl Scout. Some of my friends don't get it. They ask, why are you still in Girl Scouts? Isn't that for little kids? This is my favorite question, because I get to give an answer. I have done everything from making pizzas to scuba diving, from making pottery to, well, making speeches. Scuba diving is one of the highlights for me. You see, I'm not that strong of a swimmer, and we were told that we were going to be diving in 14 feet of water. Yikers. Without my water wings and floaty vest, I felt more than a little afraid of what was to come next. The instructors patiently explained the equipment and slowly kept raising the bar, challenging us first to use the equipment to breathe above water, then beneath and below the surface. First in the shallow water, and then eventually moving into deeper depths. Before you knew it, I was at the bottom of the pool in 14 feet of water and feeling fantastic. It occurred to me later that the scuba lesson was kind of like Girl Scouts. They have exposed me to more and more challenging things that I never thought I could do. But with encouragement, patience, and time, I have learned to dive deep into life. I have learned to be confident and outgoing, and how to be the best me I can be for myself, and how to be the best friend I can be to others. The friendships I have made in Girl Scouts will last a lifetime. So, from my cute brownie beanie beginnings to the cadet uniform, wearing the uniforms of Girl Scouts has been an outward symbol of my internal triumphs, growth, and education. Thank you, Girl Scouts, for all you've done for me and for the millions of other girls throughout the years.
How do you top that? I'm Miranda, and well, Girl Scouts has really done a lot for me with all the experiences and all the new things I had to do and all the challenges I've faced and conquered. I mean, like my troop recently, about 2 years ago, like in this picture you see, we went to West Virginia. We went whitewater rafting, and that was like the best trip ever. We had so much fun, 11 of us, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. And now, because of that, I've gone whitewater rafting again, and done lots of other new things, and it's so much fun. How much you can experience in Girl Scouts that otherwise, where would I be? I wouldn't be here, for certain, and I probably wouldn't be speaking in front of you all, because back when I was in first grade, I tried out for our talent show at my school, and I wasn't really sure about it, but I ended up dropping out and got way too nervous. But then, I've been in Girl Scouts in kindergarten, so I ended up, in Girl Scouts we do swap events, and we do stuff at our meetings where we have to learn to speak in front of other people, ask questions, do sorts of different things. And so by second grade, I'd done the talent show, and now I've done like 5. And I'm currently in many plays and musicals in my town, in my community, in my high school. And Girl Scouts has also helped me be a leader. Recently, we planned a brownie try-it days, 2 brownie try-it days for the younger girls. And I got to, as you see in the picture, we did a skit together, and I was the narrator. So, big leadership roles there. And then we had to go around teaching the younger girls different things and showing them how to do stuff. And who goes in charge of snacks? Also, through Girl Scouts, I've also helped my community, like my troop and my younger sister's troop, both led by my mom in the back. We've recently done about 10 different community meals sessions in a church nearby on Sundays. And they're really fun, and I like meeting the people there, and they're really fun to hang out with, and we talk to them, and you see the same kind of people, and it's really neat to see how much you are helping by just cooking a meal. It's so simple. And like all these experiences I've had in Girl Scouts have really changed my life. Everything I've done in Girl Scouts was something fun, cool, educational, occasionally boring, but you know, you get to do fun stuff too. Plus, I made tons of new friends, like the one standing right here next to me. I mean, without Girl Scouts, where would I be? Now, a year or so ago, one of my friends in school asked me, "Why are you still in Girl Scouts?" Not in a mean way, but in a questioning way. I said, "Because it's changed me. I won't ever give it up."
I went to a smaller elementary school. There were about 30 girls who were in the same grade as me, and I think about 25 of them were in my school troop. My name is Lily. I'm an Ambassador Girl Scout from Troop 43866 from Beverly Hills, and I'm a junior at Groves High School. I remember sitting in my elementary school library where we would have most of our meetings. We would all bond over a craft or earn a badge, and scrapbooking, that was the best part. We would look back at all of the great times we've had and reflect on the best of them all. Of course, we were only 6 or 7, so they may seem kind of unimportant, but I can still remember some of them to today. I remember bird watching with my father, and we were all bundled up because it was pretty chilly that fall. I remember camping. We did a rock wall, and we even cooked some of our own food. Now, as a child, I was one of those kids who was always afraid of heights. I was probably one of the kids crying because I didn't want to go down the slide. Yeah, that rock wall was hard. So that trip, I only made it about halfway up. I guess that's okay, but not considering everyone else made it to the top. But a few years later, I was about 10, we went on a trip to REI where we were scheduled to climb the big rock wall. Looked like the size of a building. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was the size of a building, so my friends just told me I can totally do it, but I said I was not having this. But my friends were pretty persuasive, and so were the leaders, so I tried it. And I didn't do so well again, but I got another chance again. I was 13, we went to Cedar Point. Everyone was so excited to ride all of the roller coasters. 2-hour car ride up was pretty much enough for me. But I ran with all the rides with them. I would sit with the leaders outside of the line and wait for everyone to come back and talk about how fast it was and how much fun they were having. I felt kind of left out, but every time they would ask if I wanted to do it, but I would always say no. It was getting dark, so the leader said that we were allowed to do one more ride. Somehow the girls persuaded me to go on the Blue Streak, which is about the smallest ride in the place, but
It's scary.
I had the best time. And when it was over, I couldn't wait to go back to Cedar Point again. And Girl Scouts has taught me to try, and I can do what I want. And I don't know if I would be this energetic or be this outgoing, and I don't know if I would be singing and having the courage to stand in front of all of you and speak. I know I would not be here right now. I also wouldn't have such outstanding friends. If I wasn't in Girl Scouts, I know I wouldn't have trustworthy, good-hearted friends by my side. Now I'm making new friends out of girls who aren't even in my troop. I am also a volunteer at the Girl Scout Mackinac Honor Guard, and it's so amazing to talk with girls who most have been in Girl Scouts since kindergarten, just like me.
I can't imagine my life without Girl Scouts. I hope in 20 years that I will be my daughter's troop leader as well, just like my mom was for me. I hope to see my daughter loving Girl Scouts, enjoying cutting out photos and putting them into a scrapbook. I hope that she will have the same impact from Girl Scouts as I've had, because I know that I wouldn't be the same without it.
So how did all our paths cross? Each of us is a member of the recently formed Girl Advisory Board. We are a group of older Girl Scouts interested in helping out at council events, giving presentations that promote Girl Scouting, such as this one, and sharing our voice with the adults who plan the programs and events in our council. We joined because we have all gained so much from Scouting and want to help the program become even better for girls, while sharing our experiences to promote all that Girl Scouting has to offer. We hope that in doing so, we can encourage more girls to participate, show our thanks to all the volunteers who effort make this all possible, and prove that it really is cool to be a leader. Thank you so much for having us here today to share our journeys. We hope that our stories reaffirm for you the value of Girl Scouting and make you realize that all the hard work you put in to make these journeys possible really does have an impact. We would like to ask you to pass your paper with your Girl Scouts reflections to the center aisle so that we can collect them and connect them. To all of the girls who are here, we want to remind you to try to grow from every experience you have in Scouting. Remember that you can be a leader and make the world a better place, and that doing so is pretty cool. By trying new things and stepping up to be a leader, you are giving yourself the opportunity to grow and learn, which is what Girl Scouting is all about. No matter what stage you are in your Girl Scouting experience, remember that you are always on a journey, so always keep growing. Thank you.
Yes, I'm so privileged because this is what makes it all real, you know, and so I love it. They all know that I got a patch made that says it's cool to be a leader so that we can all remember that's why we're doing this. So Denise has commented, you know, we've got a lot of challenges ahead and a lot of opportunities and a lot of responsibility, and I think as adults our most important responsibility is to constantly focus on positive forward movement so that we can continue to elevate the programs that we offer so that we have many more of those 393,000 girls in our council that could be doing the same thing as these girls. And now, it's not just the older girls, but I want to just one more time say to my members of the Girl Advisory Board, I'm so proud of the work that you're doing. This is very exciting. And Barb Sosa, by the way, we have 3 staff mentors, Regina Reed, Barb Sosa, and Caroline Feathers are the mentors for that group. It's just fabulous. So. And they are now a girl-led group. They've just decided their organizational structure and had some fabulous conversations on officers versus committee chairs, and it's been really great. So I'm very excited to keep working with them. Now, it's not just our older girls that are doing fabulous things in our council, so let's look at what's happening with some of our younger girls.
Regarding my tallies, I was eating some pizza, and my dad was eating some salad. And then I quickly noticed that he was choking out on a piece of bread. I knew immediately what to do. I ran over there and I started giving him the Heimlich that I learned in Girl Scouts' second year of brownies.
She did react without hesitation. It was amazing. I asked her, I said, how do you remember that? How do you know how to do that? And she said, I learned it in Girl Scouts. I just couldn't know. I'm so proud of Jordan. She's got what it takes to be a leader. And so I'm happy and privileged to present you with a child national honor, one of 13 girls in the whole country. Congratulations.
So Jordan's here today with her mother and father. So Jordan, can you come on up and say hi to everyone? And mom and dad as well, Mr. and Mrs. Aguilar. Come on. Jordan received the Medal of Honor for the Life Saving Award, which is a national award. She was one of 13 girls in the entire country last year.
Wow.
Hi everyone. Hi. And I want to say thank you to everybody over here. Good night.
This is what the work is really all about. And yes, we have our challenges, and yes, we have our issues to continue to work on, continuous process improvement, but this is what makes it all meaningful. So thank you.
And again, girls, thank you. This was the best way, I think, for all of us to really see leadership in action. So you all did a great job. So next on our agenda is Diane Young, who is a member of the board and chair of the Finance Committee, and she's going to be presenting the annual finance report. Lest you think that, oh gosh, this is going to be so boring because we're going through numbers, Diane always does this, I think, in a very fun, lighthearted, yet informative way.
Well, the pressure's really on, and to follow those young ladies is truly a difficult task, and I must be pretty shorter than everyone else. And when you listen to these young ladies, and then you have to listen to me talk about our, the company checkbook, this is sort of like when you have to pay your bills and your credit cards at home. So it's not the most pleasant task out there, but now we see what we're working for, and we know that a financially stable house, just like at your own home, is important to your happiness. Having a stable finance for the girls is important also. So first I'd like to thank my committee, the Finance Committee, because they are amazing. We meet every month, we pour over the numbers. Every month we look at everything, and we're constantly very vigilant. So without them, this would truly not happen. So I want to thank them. And I also like to thank Bonnie Reyes, our CFO, who's an amazing CFO and very detail oriented. She's in the back there. So thank you very much. So I'll keep it brief. Some of our accomplishments in the last year is, as you know, we did sell timbers. I did want to mention that it did go to a conservancy. So it's not going to turn into a bunch of subdivisions, so that's a really good thing. We were able to use the proceeds from the sale to strengthen the organization, to stabilize our accounts, to stabilize our pension plan, but also use the money to enhance the existing camps that we're going to invest in. So that was very important. As I mentioned, we were able to shore up the pensions, and I want to point out that Rhonda Orr here heads up the pension committee and is doing an amazing job. The pension committee is meeting almost monthly via phone calls, and you may say, well, pension's kind of boring, but it can dramatically impact our finances every single year, and it can, if it's not handled properly, could drain resources from the girls. So we're working very hard to make sure that that doesn't happen. Also the audit report, that's another really charming, fun thing. It's like having the IRS come in and see you every year. And Steve Prince over here chairs the audit committee, and we've gotten a clean, really great audit report this year. So congratulations. Girl Scouts. And you may say, well, what's the big deal about a clean audit report? It means that the money's being used effectively for you, for the girls, but it also means that the funders that look at us go, well, gee, we want to fund a group that is strong and has clean books and is using resources appropriately. So a clean audit report is really important. And then our investment strategy has been very stable. We try to keep everything conservative, but also a little bit towards the growth. So I feel very confident that we are moving in the right direction. So the numbers you'll see here are it's basically money in and money out. Where's it coming? Our money in, our public support and revenue was up this year. We had a good cookie sale last year, and of course we sold a camp. Our operating expenses were down, so we spent less money because Denise and her team are very frugal and are constantly watching the numbers. So their operation expenses went down, and of course as we divest ourselves of these expensive camps that are not being utilized, it reduces our operating costs. So our total operating results before depreciation were very significantly improved this year, so that's very good. Also, I want to mention that one big thing that Bonnie and her finance team at the headquarters has worked on is bad debt. That's when people sell cookies and then don't pay for them, or steal nuts and cookies and stuff like that. And that's down significantly this year, so that's really good. And then our financial results, this is basically our net worth statement. So this is our assets and liabilities. So you'll see our cash on hand and our investments are up, and that's because of good cookie sales, good revenue, but also that we sold the property. So our other assets, which are our real estate, went down because we no longer have a camp. But so our total assets went up, even though we sold the camp, just repositioned it from real estate to investments. Our liabilities dropped because we were able to, our investments on our pension plans and that did better, so our liabilities went down, and so our net assets have gone up. And our months in reserves, this is like how much money you have in the bank to pay bills. So, you know, if you listen to, I'm a financial planner, so everyone always talks about Susie Orman. Not my favorite person, but anyway, 3 to 6 months in the bank, right? Well, Girl Scouts, we want to have 6 to 12 months because we are very dependent on a cookie sale, and as it was pointed out, sales were down, so we want to make sure we can ride out any kind of negative environment. So since the consolidation, we've gone from 2.8 to 11, over 11 months of reserves, and that's really good. And here's how the cookie crumbles. 74% of our revenue does come from product sales, primarily from the cookie sales. We do get some from program service fees, merchandise, so buy some stuff out there. I gotta pick up some earrings on my way out. And grants, as you'll see, grants are a very minimal amount of our revenue now. And then other revenue, miscellaneous revenues now. And then where does the money go? It goes mostly to the girls. Troop-related programming, camp-related programming, very little goes towards management and fundraising. That's really good. So they run lean and mean. So looking ahead, what are some of the things we're working on over the next year? We want to take some of that money and improve the camp facilities. We're trying to make the facilities, Bill Senstock and his team, to suit the current troop configurations, to make them very camper friendly, to replace those worn floors, roofs. We don't want hot water heaters breaking on people. And a big thing is to make it allergy friendly. You know, a lot more people have allergies, so we don't want them not going to camp because of allergies. And then there's going to be service center updates, and so we are putting some more money into the capital budget this year. In addition, we have added 3 positions, which is about $225,000 to the budget, and those are positions that were very targeted and focused in on improving girl-related outcomes or generating revenue. So we're very focused on using this money for the girls. And we do continue to look at selling some of our underutilized real estate. Some of them are currently up for sale. They've been idled, so there may be some sales over the next year of underutilized buildings. And that's all I have to say today. Are there any questions? Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. You know, I really, again, just want to echo her comments about how fortunate we are in this council to have on our board, on our committees, experts in these various areas. If the council had to write a check for this kind of expertise, it would be a large check that would take money away from girls. So again, I think you can all feel very good that you know, GSSEM is a very well-managed council when it comes to our financial affairs. And so I thank Diane and the other members of the board and board committees for that. So I'd now like to introduce Pete Keating, Chair of the Board Development Committee, who will present his report.
Thank you. Before voting on the proposed bylaw amendments and presenting our slate, I'd like to introduce the members of the 2012-2013 Board Development Committee that are here today. So with us from the Board of Directors is Heather Conders, if you'll please stand. And then I'm going to ask Melody Davis and Francine Pegues to stand. If you'll give them a round of applause. It's been my privilege to serve as the chair of the Board Development Committee, and I assure you, we've been working very long and hard to make sure that we have a board and membership that are conscientious of the interests of the Girl Scouts and the future of this great council. I will tell you that we've also done a study, which I talked to you in the handout, about looking at best practices throughout the United States through using the Girl Scout Council and developing and trying to improve our bylaws and therefore the composition of the board, because it is in line with the trends that we see not only in Girl Scouts of the United States, but in the corporate world and also in nonprofit organizations. So delegates and other voting members, please refer to page 28 of your workbook, the proposed bylaw amendments that have been grouped by the subject for voting purposes. The Board Development Committee presents the following resolution for approval of the delegates at the annual meeting. Resolved that the Board Development Committee is authorized to correct article and section designations, punctuation, and cross-references, and to make such other technical and conforming changes as may be necessary to reflect the intent of the delegates in connection with the adopted amendments to the bylaws.
Is there any discussion? All right, the question is on the approval of the resolution regarding bylaw amendments. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You don't have to use the voting card yet, I'll tell you why. All those opposed, please say no. Okay, the ayes have it and the motion is adopted. Okay, let me remind the voting members that we will be then using your green voting cards to vote on the following bylaw amendments.
Kind of bad being able to run your voting. The Board Development Committee moves that the following amendments to the bylaws grouped by subject be approved by the delegates at the annual meeting. Group number 1, terms of office. Amend Article 4, officers, Section 2, subsection C, term of office by substitution.
So the question is on the adoption of group number 1 amendments to the bylaws regarding terms of office. Is there any discussion? Since there is no discussion, the question is on the adoption of group number 1 amendments to the bylaws regarding terms of office. Those in favor of adoption of group number 1, raise your voting cards. You may lower your cards. Those opposed, please raise your voting card. There are 2/3 in the affirmative, and group number 1 of the bylaws amendment is adopted.
Group number 2, elimination of the office of second vice chair. Amend Article 4, officers, Section 1, elected officers by striking out second vice chair. Amend Article 4, officers, Section 3, vacancy in office, subsection B, by striking out second vice chair and inserting board of directors. Amend Article 4, officers, Section 5, duties of officers, Section C, by striking it out in its entirety and re-lettering the 2 subsequent sections. Finally, amend Article 9, Executive Committee, Section 1, composition, by striking out 2 and inserting 3.
The question is on the adoption of group number 2 amendments to the bylaws regarding elimination of the office of the second vice chair. Is there any discussion? Since there is none, the question is on the adoption of group 2 amendments to the bylaws regarding elimination of the office of second vice chair. Those in favor of adoption group number 2, please raise your voting cards. Okay, you may lower your cards. Those opposed, please raise your voting cards. Thank you. There are 2/3 in the affirmative, and group number 2 amendments are adopted.
Group number 3, change the duties of treasurer. Amend Article 4, Officers, Section 5, Duties of Officers, subsection E3 by striking out a member and inserting chair, and also striking the introductory shall.
Okay, the question is on the adoption of group number 3 amendments to the bylaws regarding changing the duties of treasurer. Are there any questions? Since there is no discussion, the question is on the adoption of group number 3 amendments to the bylaws regarding changing the duties of treasurer. Those in favor of adoption of group number 3, please raise your voting cards. Thank you. You may lower them. Those opposed, please raise your voting card. There are 2/3 in the affirmative, and group number 3 is adopted. Thank you.
Group number 4, resize of the Board of Directors. Amend Article 8, Board of Directors, Section 1, composition, by striking out not more than 25 and inserting not less than 17 nor more than 21, and changing to subsection A so that a new subsection B may be added regarding how the membership shall be notified of the number of Board of Directors for the subsequent year. Amend Article 5, Board Development Committee, Section 4, responsibilities, by inserting a new subsection and relettering the subsequent subsections B through F. Amend Article 8, Board of Directors, Section 1, composition, by adding a new subsection B regarding how the number of Board of Directors shall be announced to the membership.
Okay, the question is on the adoption of group number 4 amendments to the bylaws regarding resizing the Board of Directors. Is there any discussion? Okay, since there is no discussion, the question is on the adoption of group 4 amendments to the bylaws regarding terms of office. Those in favor of adoption, group number 4, please raise your voting card. You may lower your cards, thank you. Those opposed, please raise your voting card. Okay, there are 2/3 in the affirmative, and group number 4 is adopted.
Group 5, Parliamentary Authority. Amend Article 15, Parliamentary Authority, by striking out Robert's Rules of Order as revised from time to time and inserting the current edition of Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised.
The question is on the adoption of group number 5 amendments to the bylaws regarding parliamentary authority. Is there any discussion? Okay, since there is none, the question is on the adoption of group number 5 amendments to the bylaws regarding parliamentary authority. Those in favor of adoption of group 5, raise your voting card. Thank you. You may lower them. Those opposed, please raise your voting card. There are 2/3 in the affirmative, and group number 5 is adopted.
So congratulations, you've now amended your bylaws. I think that's a milestone event worthy of some applause. Now the delegates and the other council members have been voting on the election of an officer and members of the Board of Directors. Please refer to page 35 of your workbook where the biographies begin. And then I'm going to ask the nominees if they please stand and remain standing as I call their names, and I'll ask they'll hold their applause until the end. The Board Development Committee nominates for officer, Board of Directors, one to be elected for a 3-year term, 2013 to 2016. For treasurer, 2013 to 2016, Diane L. Young. For directors at large to the Board of Directors, 5 to be elected for 3-year terms, 2013 to 2016. Peter Keating, Elaine T. Marcotte, Rhonda B. Orr, Catherine L. Osian, Julianne T. Perchinsky. Madam Chair, these are the persons selected by the Board Development Committee for nomination in today's election. I want to thank all of you for accepting the nomination and agreeing to serve the council in these important positions, and the nominees may now be seated. Are there any questions about the Board Development Committee, its process, and the slate that we selected? Thank you. Seeing no more questions, I thank you very much.
I'd like to thank Peter and actually the entire Board Development Committee. They do a phenomenal job in terms of, cultivating people for board service as well as on our committees, and actually had the added piece of work this year with all of the amendments to the bylaws that we just went through. The workbook confirming the nominating committee slate was mailed on February 23rd, 2012, which is 30 days before the annual meeting. The bylaws require that additional nominations must be made in writing at least 10 days prior to the annual meeting. There were no nominations received from delegates, so therefore we will proceed with the election of the slate as Peter outlined. Our bylaws require a ballot vote unless the election is uncontested, in which case the vote may be taken by voting card. Since this election is uncontested, then we will use our voting cards again. So delegates, are you ready to vote? Yes. Okay. So please get out your voting card. We've been using those already. All those in favor of the slate as presented by the Board Development Committee, please raise your voting card. Okay, thank you. You may lower your cards. All those opposed, please raise your voting card. So there is a majority in the affirmative, and I declare that the slate has been elected. So congratulations. So I'd like to ask now that all of those that were elected today, as well as all continuing board and board committee members, I'd ask you to please stand. And I would also like to ask our National Council delegates and alternates that are in attendance today to also please stand. And let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for all of you do for Girl Scouting and your continued support. So now I'm going to ask everybody to please stand. There'll be a good chance to stretch your legs, and join our new and continuing officers and directors at large of the Board of Directors, our Board Development Committee members, Board Committee members, and National Council delegates and alternates as we rededicate ourselves to Girl Scouting by reciting the Girl Scout Promise and the Girl Scout Law. On my honor,
I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law.
And the law is?
I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, and responsible for what I say and do, and to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout.
Thank you. You may be seated. So I'd like to congratulate and thank all of you who were just elected, as well as all of those who are continuing to serve. At this time, I would also like to acknowledge that there are several members of our Board of Directors who are retiring. We have two that are here today, and so when I call your name, if you please come forward to accept the token of appreciation. But first I will start with those board members who are retiring but were unable to be with us today. So we would certainly like to thank board members Kathy Cornell, Sandy Ennis, and Monica Martinez, who are retiring, actually officially as of today, who were not able to be in attendance. Two of our board members who are retiring that are in attendance today that I would like to acknowledge is our board secretary, Aquila Wainwright. So Aquila, if you join me at the podium. So we have formal resolutions for our departing board members, and I'd like to read the one for Aquila. It's a resolution of appreciation to Aquila Wainwright for her service to the Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan Council for the years 2009 through 2013. Aquila joined the board of directors for the Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan in January of 2009 and served as board secretary until March of 2013. As part of the board, Aquila has contributed to establishing a strong foundation of governance for the council. Aquila has literally discovered, connected, and taken action. The GSSEM Board of Directors hereby extends its heartfelt appreciation to Aquila for her service and contributions and wishes her continued success and fulfillment in every future endeavor. And Aquila is actually retiring, is going to be leaving the area, and has committed that she is looking up the Girl Scout troop in Atlanta where she'll live.
To say of all board positions, this has been by far the most rewarding, and talk about learning how effective boards are ran. This was really a true testament to that, and I took lessons about how the Girl Scouts do their business to all other boards and organizations that I work with. But before leaving, I'm not done here. I've had several of the Girl Scout moms at Blue Cross Blue Shield approach me about creating a diversity and inclusion model that they would like to share at some of the camps that could perhaps be used to share around other troops, and I'm going to get that done before I go. So thank you for the opportunity. Be blessed and continued success.
And our next departing board member, who has certainly been a strong, strong friend of Girl Scouting, and I know will continue to be in other capacities, is Laura Wright. So Laura, if you join me at the podium. So I'll read Laura's appreciation, a resolution of appreciation. So this is to Laura Wright for her service to the Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan Council from 2009 through 2013. Laura E. Wright joined the Board of Directors for the Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan Council in January of 2009 and served as board member at large until March of 2013. As part of the board, Laura has contributed to establishing a strong foundation of governance for the council. Laura has literally discovered, connected, and taken action. The GSSEM Board of Directors hereby extends its heartfelt appreciation to Laura for her service and contributions and wishes her continued success and fulfillment in every future endeavor. So congratulations, Laura, and thank you for your long service. As a departing gift to our board members, provided each with a set of our anniversary pearls.
Thank you, Nancy. Girl Scouts, oh my goodness, I cannot tell you the impact it has made on my life. The young lady who went to West Virginia, I did that also with Girl Scouts. My goodness, I don't know. Oh my goodness, I can remember jumping off the cliff into the water. Never I would have done that without Girl Scouts. Many of you in this audience I have worked with, I want to say thank you so much. Where would we be without volunteers? All of you has made an impact to this council, to the whole foundation of Girl Scouts, and I want to thank each one of you. You made my life better because of you. Thank you.
I have to say again, it has been just such a privilege to serve with the people on the board. We are very, very fortunate in this council to have such a high caliber group of people with exactly a group of skill sets that we need in order to responsibly govern the council. So at this time, I'm going to open the floor for any new business. And we do have some rules around this. May I remind you that the corporate management of the council is under the guidance and direction of the board of directors, and any motion covering the corporate business and affairs shall be stated as a request to the board of directors. So is there any new business that people have? Okay, with that, we want to share a video of you, again, as a kind of as a party, to remind us all of, again, not that you haven't seen a lot of that today with our girl presentations, but just a reminder of the phenomenal impact that our girls are having, not only in the community, but in the world.
My goal award project I did Peer Listening, which is a group of 13 students who help kids around our school with everyday problems of high school. When I found out about all the suicides and all the problems that my friends were having, and it really hit me, and it was that moment that I was like, I have to make a change in this school, and so that was when that's when everything started. So it is definitely a gratifying experience that I have been able to make such a change in the school and to people's lives. This is the first group of peer listeners that I started with my sophomore year, and this is Kenny Nelson, and he helped me implement the project in our school, and so we both went to the administrators, and we were the ones that started the whole project. Because of the Gold Award, like I've been able to have this experience of peer listening, and I've been able to learn all these skills, especially through like the counseling training. We brought in professionals to train us, and so I have so many skills that I can use in the everyday life of college and in the workplace. So I learned that I can do something bigger than what I ever thought, and that I like even though it was just an idea to start, now it's an actual thing that's actually being implemented.
So Rebecca is clearly, an amazing example, again, of what our girls can do in the community. And I'm very pleased to say that we will be awarding, again this year, another young woman of distinction scholarship. And so, of course, our gold and silver award banquet is on May 5th, and know that many of you will be participating in that. Just by way of closing now, there's a couple things that I want to mention. Is Rebecca here? Yeah. Rebecca, yes. Come on up.
Congratulations. Hi, my name is Rebecca Turner, like they said. I guess a little introduction to myself. I am a freshman at Central Michigan University now, and I'm majoring in communication disorders and specializing in speech pathology with minors in American Sign Language and event management. So that's just a little bit about me. I started peer listening a couple of years ago at my high school, like you saw in the video. And honestly, obviously without Girl Scouts that wouldn't have happened. And we have had kids come up to us, still emailing me, calling me, telling me that I saved their lives. And so it's honestly just incredible and such an honor to be a part of this group. And to the girls that spoke earlier, you guys are amazing. And I can tell you guys are going to do some incredible things. And even though you're juniors and sophomores in high school, that's incredible. And make sure you stick with it and just keep going, because I promise you that it all pays off. And so thank you to everybody here for this incredible experience.
And the wonderful thing for Rebecca and our other future young women of distinction scholars is we know where to find them, and we know we have a string of them, so we will be bringing them back because they are outstanding role models for our girls. So I guess I have a couple items I want to point out to you before we get into our closing of the meeting. Many of you, if you turn around, may have noticed that beautiful trophy
that's sitting in the back of the room. If you haven't seen that, if you didn't see that while you were getting your refreshments earlier, please go take a look at it after the meeting. We're very proud of that. That was the trophy that we received from the parade company for best choreographed float and girl dance, or with all of our girls marching. So we received first place and got that wonderful trophy. So we're very proud of that. And again, just what an awesome experience participating in that parade was for our council. I also want to give you a heads up. It's kind of hard to believe, but next year already is the National Council Session and the 53rd GSUSA National Convention. And that is scheduled for October 16th through 19th in Salt Lake City. So we are already starting to get information that we will be working with our National Council of Delegates on, as well as the board, because we have an opportunity to help influence what is going to be on the agenda, any pressing issues, and any of the items for the official National Council session. So I would ask all of you to watch the GSSEM website this summer, so probably the August-September timeframe. There will be more details as well as information about applying to become a National Council delegate, because we'll handle that in the next program year. So again, thank you very much for your participation today. I'm going to turn it over to the girls from the Girl Advisory Board now to do our concluding flag ceremony.
Girl Scouts, attention. Please stand while we retire the flag. Color Guard, advance. Color Guard, honor your flag. Color Guard, retire the colors. Girl Scout Color Guard dismissed.
So girls, on behalf of the council, I want to thank you for your fine work this morning. Again, it was wonderful to have the opportunity to have you hear firsthand from the girls in our council on what Girl Scouting has meant to them and how it has formed them into the leaders that they are. I would like to remind all participants to please fill out the meeting evaluation form. I think that's on your chair, and there's a box out here on the way out that you can deposit it. Just a couple other reminders. Cookie Gala, March 27th is Wednesday. Great opportunity, lots of fun, lots of calories, but that's okay. They're Girl Scout calories, so they don't count. So we certainly would appreciate your support of that event. And then I would also acknowledge that our volunteer recognition lunch is happening in a couple weeks. It's April 13th, right here in this same place. So we certainly welcome and encourage all of you to attend to support each other. And I'm very, very proud that we have many, many volunteers that are being recognized for their service to council. So since all of the business on the agenda has been completed, we will officially adjourn this meeting. So thank you everyone for coming. You are adjourned.